Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about some money saving ideas for plants, for purchasing plants and what to look for when you're buying plants. I recently purchased a perennial grass and I wanted to show you guys how I'm going to divide that. So I'm actually getting two plants in one, and this was on a recent video that I did when I went on a Home Depot run to see what they had. So I'm going to show you that today, as well as dividing some lilies, which again is taking an existing plant that I had and creating more plants out of those. And you're getting more plants for your money when you are just buying the one and then making multiple plants as they continue to multiply themselves. So let's take a look at what we've got and get going. Okay, so here is an example of a plant that I recently purchased that I noticed as I was looking at the different plants could actually be divided. This one I got from Home Depot, and it is a perennial grass. It was $4.98, and I actually got this in a recent video that I posted going to Home Depot and looking at the different plants that they have. And my intention when I went was not to get a grass. I was not looking for a grass. However, when I was looking, I noticed that this one could be divided. It has two separate places coming from the soil, two separate plants coming. You have this one here, and then you have this one here. So they're side by side, but they're already ready to be divided. I could plant it as one plant, but once I noticed that it could be divided, obviously I would like to go ahead and make two plants from it, and I'm getting more bang for my buck. At that point, I'm getting two plants for $4.98, so one each, just under $2.50. And not only that, but these are perennials, so they're going to come back year after year, and they are going to continue multiplying. So as they multiply, wherever I put them, I can continue to divide them and place them in other pots in the garden or in the ground if I would like to, or you can give it away to your family or friends or neighbors, whatever you would like to do, and you have a plant that you spent $5 on that is giving you multiple plants. So this is a great bargain. You definitely, when you're out looking, you want to see if you can find some plants that have the ability to be divided. And I will also include, when I was at Home Depot, I noticed that they had lilies on sale, and again, those were ready to be divided. So they were $2.50, but they may have 2 or 3 different plants within that pot. So you're really not spending a lot of money for the perennial. And to divide it, all you do is you take your shovel and go down and break those roots apart, which I'll show you here in just a moment. All right, that took a little bit of work because it was very root bound, so I actually had to lay it on the ground to put some weight into it. But now, as you can see, I have 2 plants. So 2 plants for the price of 1. That is very exciting, and I will get these potted now. Now, it's always a good idea, in my opinion, to look at the sale table. For example, they have daylilies here, 2 for $5. However, if you look closely, you can actually make a couple of different plants out of these by splitting them. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's one, and you could do a second one here, and that would actually give you 2 plants. So 2, in this case, there's 3 here for $5, or I'm sorry, for $2.50, which is not a bad deal at all. I wanted to share another example of dividing plants. While I was planting my new grass here, I noticed that in my pot, I had planted a daylily. I had actually divided a daylily that I had about a year or so ago and planted it in this pot as well. It's been blooming all summer and just finished up. But if you can see, there are offshoots here where I can create completely new plants. I can divide this again, and I have several plants that I could create off of this one divided plant. So this is another example where a plant that you buy can continue to produce additional plants, and you can put it elsewhere in your garden as well. Actually, there are several offshoots. You can see here I could create a plant. Definitely over here, I can divide this and create a new plant, just plant that somewhere else. And it will keep producing, and I can keep dividing, or I can plant it in my garden, or like I said, I can give it to someone else. And this is from one plant that I purchased one time, and I've gotten so many additional offshoots from that original plant. Okay, so I have one of the two divided plants in this one pot, my perennial grass that I added here. And I also, as I pointed out, I had planted in the past some daylilies that I had split previously into this plant. And I went ahead and decided to divide them out now. So I pulled those out and divided them and have two plants from the one that I had in there. And I actually left a bit of root in here as well, so that it will come back next year and I can decide at that point whether to take it out and plant it somewhere else in the yard or leave it in this pot. And just to show you guys, these are the two daylilies that I did divide from that pot. So as you can see here, I've left quite a bit of root on this, as well as this one, although it's a little harder to see because it has a lot of soil there. But these will be put in the ground, or I may start them in a pot and then move them, but they'll be fine either way. As long as I keep them watered, they'll be good to go, and they will take off as their own plants, and then eventually they'll be divided as well as they continue to grow. This is a picture of the daylily that I just divided when it's in bloom from about June to the beginning of August. Here is the second of my perennial grass that I divided, and I put it as a backdrop in this container right here in this pot, and it will come out back year after year, and I will use that as a backdrop and then stack down from that in height. And probably just as I have here, I'll probably put another trailing vine next year as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will be doing more videos like that where I'm going to look for sales and money-saving ideas for gardening. Gardening can certainly be an expensive endeavor, and so I'm trying to look for ways that makes it a little bit less expensive as I continue on, and I'll make sure to share those ideas with you guys. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye.